Silicon Valley is home to many early adopters of fuel alternative cars. 11% of hybrid vehicles in California were registered in the valley back in 2005. And the number of electric cars on local roads has also been increasing. We would like to welcome Rod Dearden of Mineta Transportation Institute and Robert Garzi, Application Manager of Electronic Transportation Development Center. Now that's a mouthful. You're also the CEO of Synergy EV. First, let's just start at the beginning. Hybrids, electric vehicles, for folks who haven't been paying a lot of attention, there's a big difference.
Well, hybrids are a new evolution of electric vehicles, but electric vehicles have been here clear from the turn of the last century. In 1908, there was a fine electric vehicle called the Mets that would have gone on to capture the market if it had been allowed to. The latter part of the 1900s, we all recognized the EV1 from General Motors as the car of the future until General Motors took those cars back and destroyed them and crushed them and put them in a landfill. The technology's here. We're ready to use that technology. We have to use the technology if we're going to combat global warming, and it's about time that our manufacturers step forward and provided it.
But we don't see electric vehicles in any sort of mainstream way. I mean, people still think of them as golf carts.
Well, the EV1 wasn't a golf cart. It was the hottest thing on the road. The Tesla now is one of the hottest cars on the road. The technology is here, and the Tesla will get you 140 to 200 miles, depending on how you drive.
Can you afford to buy it?
Well, it's more expensive, but if we had the volume, if many people were buying it, then the per unit cost would come down. Mm-hmm. That leads into the manufacturing issue.
Yeah. Now, Robert, tell us about that. Is it really possible to have auto plants here in the Silicon Valley making electric vehicles?
Well, if we take a look at history, 16 miles from here is a company making 365,000 cars a year. That's pretty phenomenal. 86 miles from here was a company that was building electric vehicles out of the same cars that the NUMMI plant, which is the one down the road, was building. So the facts are you can build electric cars in Silicon Valley if you want to reach out and grasp the opportunity. The world is looking to us to grasp the opportunity here in Silicon Valley. It's up to us. We have all the right things moving. We have $100 a barrel oil. We have people in this valley that want to move forward with green. We have the mayor of this city that is putting together a green campaign. We have all the right tools to make it happen.
And you have the venture capital pouring in.
Yes.
In this area. Mm-hmm. So then what are the obstacles?
Well, the first thing that we have that we always have to talk about is the technology that we have in this valley has come forward so fast in the last 3 years that we now have the tools we need. The things that hold us up are, I believe, that we need to have an organization that reaches out and tries to bring companies to the valley to make this happen. If we make the effort, we can have the industry and the manufacturing.
And the knock on the electric vehicle was always the battery.
Yes.
That has changed dramatically.
Dramatically. And in fact, there's 3 technologies in this valley that are used in laptops, in handheld devices, that because of the volume of those devices, the price is coming down, but the real advantage of it is range. We can get cars that'll go 80, 100, 150 miles, where before we could only get 50 miles.
So Rod, you really think we can become the next Detroit or Tokyo here?
Well, I think so. I'm driving a Prius now because I can't buy an electric car, even though I've driven an electric car since '96. And I think there are a lot of other people now with concern for global warming, with the price of gasoline, with congestion on our roadway systems that are caused by overcrowding, that are ready for electric cars. You know, the average trip each day is less than 20 miles. So if you're going to talk about the average person, the electric cars are there for them now. Plug in at your home with a solar photovoltaic system on your roof would make you independent from gas stations.
Wow.
That's the time to come.
But where do you get the price point down to where the average consumer is going to abandon the gas guzzler and switch?
You have to manufacture the vehicles. If you manufacture the vehicles in the manner that the technology will allow now, people will buy. The more they buy, the more units sold, the price point will come down.
Mm-hmm. And the big 3 are not jumping into this in any way you'd expect?
Well, General Motors abandon the electric car with the destruction of the EV1s after spending, they said, $1 billion in R&D and promoting that 1,000 units of the first run. Now they're coming back with a Volt. Well, the Volt would be great, but they've got to release it for sale. They've been talking about it for the last 5 years.
It's wide open then, really, for the Silicon Valley to own this.
And that's one of the advantages of the Silicon Valley. It takes a look at a project differently than other countries, other regions, and we can make the difference if we get focused on it. I represent the Electronic Transportation Development Center that is being sponsored by the City of San Jose, the Redevelopment Agency, which is focused on taking technology from this valley and bringing it into surface transportation. It's a center that perpetuates our philosophy of electronic devices as opposed to mechanical. It's in place. We're making the difference.
And the first cars we're likely to see would be fleets like buses or public transportation?
Usually fleets lead the way because fleets are more mandated to have to reach the emission levels. But the real focus with fleets is that their fuel costs are up 3 to 4 times what they were 5 years ago. So fleets are leading the way. We have 3 companies that want to move to San Jose, including a school bus company that wants to move here and start building school buses for Silicon Valley and California.
Is land a problem though? I mean, our land costs are expensive. Can anyone afford to put auto plants in the Bay Area?
Well, I can only use the example of NUMMI, which is doing it right now and has done it for years. The new technologies of manufacturing, though, allow you to build product without having to have as much space. And assembly and development should be headquartered here.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. I love the idea of not having to head for that gas pump. Those are days we can all look forward to. Thank you, Rod Dearden of Mineta Transportation Institute, and Robert Garzi, Application Manager of the Electronic Transportation Development Center. Well, that's all the time we have now. To all of our guests, thank you all for sharing your expertise. If you are interested in seeing more of the Joint Ventures Conference and more interviews, please visit our website, kteh.org. I'm Deborah Villone. Thanks for joining us for The State of the Silicon Valley.